All right, so now our recording is going. So if you'll verify also that you can see the screen on the PowerPoint, the 2021 scholarship training. All right,
Yes.
thanks.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, awesome, thank you. All right, so the first couple of slides, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to run through them. The presentation is on our District 9 website. And so those are all things as you're kind of preparing for college that I know if you have a graduating senior this year, that you're already way ahead of the game because I've seen announcements on Facebook and stuff that people are already being accepted. So a lot of that is just kind of things to think about as you're getting prepared, but do know that that is on the presentation on our website. So some things on, may have doing college visits and researching and getting prepared. There's some websites to look at. Some are not as useful this year because of the ACT. We're not taking those scores. But please do check those out if you need to, and if you have questions, we can go to it at the end. A couple of things about financial aid. There are some myths that people think, oh, my parents make too much money, I'll never qualify for financial aid. I don't have a perfect GPA. I'm not gonna get a scholarship, and that's those things are they're myths. They're not true. So everything varies between scholarship to scholarship, donor to donor, and and a lot of other different things that factor into it. So my suggestion is you do you fill out your application to your best ability and apply for everything you possibly can, and just put it out there for yourself so that you can see what you can end up with in the end. Some truths, even millionaires, people who do have money, they receive financial aid as well. And scholarships are not always based solely on your GPA. So definitely keep those things in mind. The scholarship program, just so you guys are aware, it is overseen by our Texas 4-H Youth Development Foundation. There will be an estimated $2.5 million that's given at this summer. I'm going to say that kind of loosely, that we will, we don't know what things are going to look like. So just know that, we will have a scholarship process and we are moving forward with that. So, but plan on about 2.5 million that will be given away. And that's approximately about 225 scholarships. Another thing we want to make sure that everybody understands through the 4-H program is that these scholarships are academics scholarships, and they are based on academic record along with the 4-H experiences and financial need, and some of the scholarships focus a little bit more on financial need than some of the others. Again, that goes back to the fact that each scholarship, its donors put in the requirements, so they are going to be a little bit different, even though it falls under the same umbrella of the Texas 4-H Foundation. Changes. One of the things, this is technically not a change for this year, for the 2021 year, but any youth who are receiving Terry scholarships, they are not eligible for our 4-H opportunity scholarships. So that's about this will be the second year that kind of comes into play. Our scholarship interviews are tentatively scheduled here in College Station, April 23rd through the 25th. So as we go through the process, just be sure to watch out for and pay attention to the dates as things may change. There are 4 different scholarships within this process. So there's the baccalaureate, so those who are pursuing a Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts. There's the technical, so those who may be looking at a technical certification. There's a collegiate opportunity, so that's for our former 4-H members who have already completed 30 hours. And then there's the Courageous Heart. So the Courageous Heart is for those who are either looking at the baccalaureate or the technical route, but this is geared towards youth who have overcome obstacles related to medical, family, and or education. This is one of those scholarship applications that sometimes you may need to decide where you truly fit. Do you fit under that? You might. The Courageous Heart, there are less of those scholarships awarded. So depending on other things in your application, your project experiences, your even your GPA, you may actually fit better under the baccalaureate scholarship application. And that is one of those that I highly encourage you to work with your county extension agent on to see where you fit best. The general requirements, these are also listed in the rules and guidelines. That's on the Texas 4-H Foundation page, and I also added them to the District 9 website. Youth must be a current active 4-H member, currently actively enrolled in 4-H online, a U.S. citizen, a Texas resident, and scheduled to graduate from a Texas high school, public, private, or home during the 2021 year. They also must have been accepted into a Texas college or university or technical school by the time of the interview. And I do want to go back up to this right here. So you got to be a current member and at least 2 of the 3 previous years. So youth may not have been a member, may not have been enrolled for some reason as their freshman year, but they were their sophomore and junior and their senior. Maybe they were enrolled their freshman year, but not their sophomore, but junior and senior. So please make note of that this is a question that has come up every year for some county that it will affect kids currently enrolled for this year and at least 2 of the 3 previous years. You need to complete and pass all necessary standardized test requirements for graduation and to be admitted entrance into college or university or technical school, and submit the application. And then you have to upload the correct documentation, your FAFSA, CH. I do want to emphasize that right there. That is Courageous Heart, the information that comes from that, the additional letters that are required. And your application must be complete and correct. And this right here, it's in red for a reason. Once it's submitted and you've hit all those buttons, there are no updates allowed. So one of the good things is that the process is the portal, when you get into it, it does allow you to download the questions so you can work with them, over in a Word doc or whatever, and you can complete all your information before you go in and add it in. And often we hit that submit button sometimes a little too early, then we're ready to hit it, and then we want to make sure that you don't do that. So you do have the option to work to the side, off to the side in another document. The baccalaureate eligibility, you must be in the upper 1/2 of the class based on scholastic rank for the first 3.5 years. There are some of the scholarships that do require the youth to be in the top quarter of their class. The Walrus Scholarship is one, Rodeo Austin, and as well as Rodeo Houston. Those do require the top quarter of your class. And those are noted in the rules and guidelines toward, I think, on page 4 in the back. This is a change for this year. Houston did increase their scholarship amount to $110,000, so that is a great change there. The technical scholarship, to go that route, you must not have plans to continue your formal education at a 4-year college or university, or at a Texas college or university. So know that once you select that option, once you select that in the scholarship portal, that is the route that you're going and what you're applying for, and you can't go back and change that even midway through it. Maybe you finished your technical hours, your education there, and try to utilize money to go to a college or university. It does not work that way. The Courageous Heart, those applicants, those are not going to be considered for the baccalaureate or the technical. They do have a maximum value of $5,000, and there's a little bit extra things that you have to do: written documentation of the obstacles, the recommendation letters, and then completing an additional Courageous Heart narrative component. And this is why, because it is a maximum of the $5,000. I want you to talk with your agent, talk within your family, figure out which route fits your needs the best. And so it definitely warrants a conversation. This is the requirement for the collegiate application. So if you have a sibling or another child in the house that is a previous 4-H member, they can apply for that if they've completed their 30 hours and have a 2.7 GPA. So a couple of reminders for the application. No, we're not done, even though it looks like we are. Well, we have more to talk about. All applications must be submitted through the 4-H Foundation Scholarship Portal. So if there is anybody on here who has a former youth that applied with the old application where we were using paper, last year was the first year we went to an online portal system. That was a huge change for a lot of us. But it worked. It seemed to work, pretty well overall. There was a tremendous amount of scholarship applications submitted, and we endured the change, and it was fine. But please know that if you were familiar with the previous format, it is online, so don't miss that piece, that it has to be done that way. And we'll walk through the actual application itself. I created my own application so that we could see it and walk through it if you haven't gotten to that point yet of creating one. There, like I said, you do it online. You can download the list of the questions so that you can see it and you can complete your answers in Word, but you must go back and put everything in on the application itself. There are some examples in the application to help guide you through the process. It's similar to the record book. Not exactly. Doing a record book is not a requirement. It just helps to have all your information and your experiences in a nice, neat little package to go by. So they're, like I said, not a requirement, but a great addition to have. So like I said, have any information you have prior to help you through this process, do the guidelines, read through the guidelines. It's not very long, but know what they are. You are going to have to get a transcript from your school. That I would go ahead and put in your request now, especially if you go to a larger school, and put that request in, because you're not the only one asking for transcripts. This is kind of still on here. Please note that the SAT and the ACT scores are not required this year. So that just kind of, I think if we took it off the PowerPoint, we'd forget to put it back in the future. So just know that is not a requirement. And then you're going to have the financial, your FAFSA, your SAR report, and we'll show a picture of that in a little bit, just to make sure you have the exact piece that you need to upload into the system. Little timeline of process that you can go back and look at, just kind of from applying to the interview and all that good stuff. This will give you an idea of the scoring, of how it's all based. And so if we look back, Courageous Heart, there's a 0 there because for GPA, there's no points given for that because it doesn't count. And so you can kind of see where the true points count. 65 points out of 100 for your 4-H experiences and your leadership, your community service, and your narratives. Under technical, it's 70 points. So just kind of gives you, for those who are numbers people, it kind of gives you a better look at like, ooh, I've really got to beef up that part of my application, because that's where a bulk of my points are going to stem from. So as we get into the scholarship application, and they're calling it the scholarship portal, you will have to use your, you'll create an account just like we do with most everything else online, and use an email address. Use the email in which the 4-H member will utilize later on. And so that'll be one that they carry with them. If they are provided and awarded a scholarship, everything that they do to provide their documentation in the future, it's going to go through that. That's the communication piece. That's what they're going to be working with. So please make sure to use a good email. And also the information should be the applicant's information, not the parent's information in the system. And then this kind of starts looking at the portal. So you're going to go in, you're going to do your email address, do your password, and create the new account. And then we get into where you're going to apply. One of the good things about, another good thing about this system is what it'll do is once you create that initial login, it will send you a confirmation email. So if you do not get an email, and I mean, and it was instant when I created mine, it was in my email immediately. So if you're not getting an email, you may not have typed it in correctly. So double check. You should receive an email saying that you created this portal login for you to work through the system. And as you get ready to apply, it's going to have right here, it has Baculard. It's going to list the other ones below it. And then over here to the side, you're going to say which one that you want to, you're going to apply for that particular piece of it, or that application component. This is a tool on there that'll allow you to convert things to a PDF. Everybody has their system that what works for them, but everything is, when you upload, you're going to have to upload your transcript. You're going to have to upload your county extension agent verification form, and so those need to be in PDFs when you upload them. So that's just a helpful tool if you want to utilize it. It also talks about a collaboration tool right here. This will allow you to share your application with others whom you want for them to read it. Send it to your agent so they can see it when they're reviewing it. There might be things that they see that you completely forgot about. Another thing that I highly encourage everybody to do is send your information to someone who outside of your family. Someone who doesn't read the things that you write on a daily basis, because they know how you write, they know how you speak and how you talk, and so a lot of times they're not gonna pick up some of those key pieces of grammar or punctuation because they're used to seeing it. So, and the other thing is, there's not a lot of time to read the application. It's not that they get 4 hours to read one application or anything. So you want to make sure that it's easy enough for the judge to see it, get it, and grasp what you're trying to tell them. And so sending it to somebody outside of your 4-H world can also be beneficial because a lot of times they don't know what's going on and what we do, so they can kind of give you some extra feedback. So at this point, I'm going to move my screen over. Hopefully I'll pick up the right one, and we'll see. I'm going to move my application over if I can find it right quick. So at this time, while I'm working on this, does anybody have any questions right off the top? Okay, not seeing any yet or hearing any.
Excuse me, Ms. Corey.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for the county extension verification form. We would request that from the county, right?
Yes, you can. It's actually on the website. It's on the foundation website. It's a fillable PDF, and they will just fill it out, verifying that they are a 4-H member, and then there's a couple other questions on it, and then they'll sign it and then give it back to you. And I'll show you in a little bit where you're going to upload that.
Okay, thank you.
Was there another question?
I was just going to ask, are you going to email out links to the people that are on this call for all of this stuff, or are we supposed to go to the different sites for it?
I did send a link in the very first of the text chat. So if y'all can scroll back up there and I can resend that. Ashley, if you will copy that and resend it back through, please. But it is on our District 9 website. So at the top, there's a couple of different top links up there, but it's on there, and the same stuff is on the 4-H Foundation one. But if Ashley can do that, and I can, we are recording, so I can send additional emails to make sure everybody gets all of the pieces of everything that you guys need to try to make this as easy and smooth as possible.
Thank you.
And so, okay, can you guys see the application on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so this is what it's going to look like after you get in and create it. Like I said, I just created a test account right here, and here's a question list that you can pull up and print off, and so that you can know what questions you're going to have to answer, so you can do that. It is a lot of, it's 24 pages, so depending on whether or not you want to print that, but you can print that to utilize to help you. But as you go through the application, you know, simple stuff right off the bat, personal information. There is a unique identifier, and so this is generated by the portal, and so the ID will be used to locate the identity of the scholarship application, and it actually prints it on every page of the scholarship application. And so this one right here is the name is Mary Short with a Social Security of ending in 1443. That it populates. So there, that'll be the identifier. Preferred name, phonetic name. Please phonetic anything out. I don't care how simple it is. Phonetic it all out. They're not knowing who's going to be reading the names later on. A lot of times, sometimes it's our foundation members, sometimes it's some of our state council members. And so just go ahead. My last name is always said wrong, and that's fine. You know, it's not that big of a deal. But when we're announcing it as far as a scholarship, it is a big deal. We want your name to be correct. So phonetic that out, every all of it, please. Your the date of birth, citizenship, Texas resident. Are you applying for an FFA scholarship? Please don't think that if you're applying for an FFA one, you're not going to get a 4-H one. That was several years ago, not the case anymore. Now, what is going to, I think some of them, it should be that you don't get 2 Houstons, you know, that way, but I have not heard updates on that this year yet. So demographics, please fill that out, check all the boxes, radio buttons. Then we're going to get into your district and county information. Please know your district. Everybody here should be District 9. I'm assuming, you know, somebody else could have put in and asked for the link. I don't know, but put in your correct district, put in your correct county, your club name, how many years you've been enrolled, the name of your county extension agent, the phone number to them, their email, and right here, this upload right here is going to be the verification form. There's an example of it. Like I said, it's a very simple form that they'll fill out, and then they turn around and you can upload it. College information. Right here, we're going to put in where did you apply? First choice, were you accepted? Major course of study. Second choice, same thing. Go ahead and list those. So please do remember that you must attend a Texas college or university to be eligible for the scholarships. They will not be granted for youth going out of state. Livestock show participation, answer those questions there. Right here, yes, I do realize it says 2020. I have put in a question to make sure that was a typo and was anticipated to be 2021. Individual scholastic record. Okay, so this is, you're going to get your transcript from your school. So put in when your expected graduation date. More than likely, your school is going to send your transcript to you in a sealed envelope. It is okay to open it. That is the only way you're going to get it uploaded here. So do that. It's going to have the, you know, when you, and another great thing about opening is making sure that they put the seal on it and that there's an actual signature, you know, just to, you know, verify that it looks official and looks real, because when you do upload them, you can't, and when you copy them, you can see that seal on those photocopies. So it is there. Michelle, did you have a question?
Just a comment. We've got a couple of schools that will not hand it to the child. So we have them mailed to the office, and then I contact the family and let them know it's here, and we open it together and make sure it's all accurate. I have had one school where I had to send it back 3 times to get it the way we needed it.
All right. Yes, thank you. I remember you've said that before, that the schools would not send it to the youth. So yes, that is a great thing, and a good thing for them to be able to open it, together. That may not happen that way this year, but do know that if for some reason you do have the ability, if the family gives you the authority to open it, you can also open it as an agent. And so, because we do want to make sure, we don't want these transcripts to get uploaded and not be the correct transcript, because that can make a huge difference. And so we just don't want that to happen. That's too of an easy mistake. Another part right here, section 5, this is going to be that your school is going to give their info, they're going to fill out something on their behalf. And it's really kind of nice. So I just put in my email address right there, or you're going to put in the email address to whomever you're sending it to whichever person. Also remember, let them know that this is coming, and so that they're not caught off guard to and to overlook the emails. Again, if you're at a large school, they get a lot of different emails. And so you want to make sure that it is taken care of. So you're going to have to follow up too. This will send a reminder if they have not responded. So you just put in the person's email address, hit compose email, provide the subject line of what you're requesting. And they even provided you some verbiage right here on the body of what you should put in the request. And so it'll send it to that person at the school, and then they'll be able to fill it out online, and it'll all be populated there in your scholarship portal. Financial information. This is the SAR report. And, this is one of those things. It takes everybody has to do it. It could take about 3 to 4 weeks to get it back. So if you have not gone through the FAFSA website and completed that application, that's electronic student aid report, and to get this student aid report back, please do that as soon as possible. Another thing is that when you get your information back, you need to make sure it has an EFC on it, that expected financial contribution score. And because if it doesn't have anything, because before I've seen them where they've come back and the pieces, it just wasn't completed. Like there was a component missing out of the application, or, whatever happened. And then, the family, they get it back, and it's time for us to send everything in. This is not the SAR report. For one, it came back in on green paper. So if it came back on green paper, that was not the correct thing. It should just be a general report. And when I move back over to the presentation, I'll show you the example of the SAR report that should come back to you. Again, you will upload that to the system and put in what your EFC. The EFC is really tiny up in the right corner. So. And right here, you're going to do a financial narrative. You're going to talk about why you and I'm not going to use the word deserve, because they tell us right here not to do it. Why should you be awarded a Texas 4-H scholarship? We could all sit here and say we deserve money. It would be nice. We can all think about, oh, these are all the great things I could do, all the wonderful things. Are you, show us that you've looked at what it costs to go to school. What is it going to cost for books and anything else you may need for classes? What is it going to be for housing? Are you, even though, you may be living at home, but it's still expensive to go to college. You're still expected, to do other things. Are you going to have a job and work while you're attending classes? How much are you planning on working? How much are you going to have to contribute? Have you saved up money? Have you, monies that you may have earned through your 4-H projects and sales that you've potentially made? Be honest. And, are there any, specific financial burdens? And in this section, don't lie. don't, just, put it all out there. The other thing is, whoever you share this application with. So if you go up and you click the collaborate button, or if you put it on a Word document, you share it with them, those are the only people who are going to see this. And outside of the judges, and when the judges get it, they're not getting your name. They're just getting whatever that code is at the top. And so this is one of the few places that we have for you to truly tell us how the scholarship could help you and how it would be beneficial for you and your family as you move through the college experience. A couple other things it talks about, are there any other members in your household that are going to be in college at the same time? Are you having to care for is your family having to care for other family members, or have any medical concerns that are financial obligations that you are going to endure while you're in college? Then we get into really what I call the meat, the bulk of this whole scholarship application, and and where you really put it out there. So your 4-H experiences, you can list up to 4 of your most significant 4-H projects throughout your entire career. Talk about your years involved, your knowledge, and the things that you've learned, the knowledge that you've gained, and how involved have you been in it? What have you done? Exhibits, workshops, tours, shows, demonstrations, presentations, and describe why these are important and significant, and why the impact of your involvement provided you that you have on other people. And here, we want to put emphasis on the quality of your experiences rather than the quantity. And everybody's been in 4-H for a different number of years. Some people just may not have known about it and had the opportunity to join at the age of 8 and in the 3rd grade, or maybe they didn't get into it until a friend really encouraged them to get there when they were 7th, 8th, 9th grade. And so that doesn't take away from their experience. So focus on the quality of everything that you've done, and letting us know whether it was the local, county, district, state, regional, national, or even international level. And so what you can do is, they gave an example right here. So for the horse project, and the number of years, and that they've participated in this many shows, participated in horse judging, and competed at these events, and all this good stuff. So you can put all of that here in this box and list it out. You have 4,500 characters to use in this box. Now, you also can, for those who like to do charts or change it up and do it a specific way, you can upload a file. And so must be 8-point font or larger. It has to fit all on one page, and only one MB is allowed. So you have the option, and it does this in each of the boxes below, whether you're going to put it here or put it on a Word doc and upload that. I know we get to a lot of people that's, especially those who've done record books for quite some time, and they like to color code things and this, and bold and stuff like that. That may not come through, that may not be able to be seen. So don't put so much emphasis on if you want to color code things. And just remember, some colors don't always show up correctly on everybody's screens. And so, and when things are printed. So just, choose which one works best, but just remember to really highlight everything that you've done and participated in, up to 4, list up to the 4 of your most significant 4-H projects. And remember, this is your entire 4-H career. The next section is our leadership section. So you can list up to 20 of your major leadership roles. Again, these are going to be whether you volunteered for things, did promotional 4-H activities, or you had elected or appointed leadership. List what you did, what were your responsibilities, what level was this at, local, county, district, state, so forth, and put emphasis on the quality, again, rather than the quantity. And so those are a couple examples there. Again, same component, either put it all here or upload a document. But remember, just pay attention to this right here. If you're going to upload a document, put in the box, the attached. Your 4-H honors. List up to 4 of your most important honors received through 4-H. And so you get 4 for your whole career. I know for some, it's like, oh, how do I choose? But choose the ones that were the most meaningful and the most important to you. And you get to explain out to the side of it. This award is the height of my passion invested in both the horse and public speaking projects. So it's, an opportunity to really think back to what meant the most to you as far as winning an award. And it could be for some, it could be your very first award that you won in 4-H. And for you, maybe it was something that helped you step outside your box and in your comfort level. So again, what is important to you? And again, you're going to have to sell it here as to why it was important. Don't just say, I won an award or, such and such award. Community service, along the same lines as everything else. And we're going to list up to 15 of those. And don't forget to put telling us, what was the impact and why it was important. Outside of 4-H experience, you can put the stuff here. You can upload it. Only 3,500 characters here. And on this page, Michelle, I'd love to hear what you have to offer in this, because I'll tell you, my opinion is, I think a lot of times we have people who want to fill this box up. There's not a lot of point value given on this section, really. So don't feel like this whole section has to be so massive in what you've done, because again, this scholarship is about 4-H. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Michelle?
No, just want to say that you're well-rounded. So list the things you have, but yeah, I don't know that it has to be completely full.
Okay, sorry, I need to take a drink too, as that was going along. Personal narrative. And we have 2 narratives. We've already talked about the financial narrative. We have a personal narrative and a career narrative. And in the personal narrative, this is, I call this the good, kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's you can talk about all the great things. What we don't want you to do is talk about the things you just told us in the 4-H project sections. This could be, some of the things that the history of 4-H and how you got into it. Some people, it just happened randomly, and for others it was kind of a history thing. Their family was involved, and and there was no turning back. They weren't going to be, they were not going to be in it themselves. Did you have any personal obstacles? Again, this is where you can truly you get to tell your story. It's about you. It's a personal narrative. The greatest things that you'll take from 4-H. How is 4-H helping you move into adulthood and shaping you into the person that you've become and who you are. And so it's your opportunity to just put it out there. Again, the only people who are going to read it are the people you share it with. And and through the years, I've read some that will completely make you cry, some that just make you laugh because just how it's the way it was. Things just ended up, and they make you chuckle, and then some that are like, really, so it's it's your story. So it's your it's kind of like the record book story, except shorter, one page. So career narrative along the same lines, putting it out there. Where have you visited colleges? What departments have you talked with professors? Have you have you researched? Have you job shadowed? Have you what tours have you taken? And have you had any specific jobs as a youth that have helped you gear towards like where you're headed? One thing that kind of comes to mind are the kids in the vet science project. They get a lot of cool opportunities to shadow and go work in the vet clinic, and because that's where the avenue they want to take, and so they can kind of talk about those things. So again, another piece of it that's for you to tell your story in sharing that piece of where you're headed, and how this scholarship is going to help you achieve those goals. They have a section right here, acknowledgement, last part of it. And so saying that you certify that everything in this is accurate and all of that, and then you will hit the submit button. So are there any questions on this application component? And so as I'm running through the presentation, like I said, because y'all can all access this, and all of these things are the things that we talked about on the and I personally, I'm a visual person, so I prefer to see the actual application. They do put screenshots on here, so you're able to see them, but I just wanted to show you more the true actual app. So hope you guys don't mind. That's my preferred method of learning. So. And then we just went through, all of those. So as I run back through this, if there's anything that comes to mind, please do ask. This is your opportunity that, you may be thinking it and hoping somebody else will ask the question. And I know I want to get to the SAR report so that you guys can see that piece of it. So kind of going back right here, this is where you'll send it to the component where you'll send the email to the school, and they have after 7 days, if they have not completed the task, it will start to send them reminder emails. But as I said, please follow up with your school and and who's supposed to be completing that piece for you. FAFSA, click, make sure you're doing that. Click on that link. So right here, this is a SAR report, a student aid report. It's going to be anywhere from about 1 to 7 pages that I've seen over the last several years. And it's just going to depend on the information that's in there. And then up here, it's going to have this expected financial contribution. And so that'll be the number you put in on the application. So I'm just going to run through those because we've already talked about that. And so, on the outside experiences, like Michelle said, we want to see that you are well-rounded in the, and participating in other things. You don't have to list everything, but it can be school activities, it can be things within the school, church activities, other community, other organizations. If you're any of the the breed associations or things like that, feel free to include that information.
Hey, Corey.
Yes.
Hey, I have a question on the school. Whenever you send it to the counselor or your principal, so can you go on and submit the application, or do you have to wait for them to respond?
I would wait as close as possible to closer to the deadline to make sure everything is in, just because I'm a little OCD about that.
Okay. So like if we're starting on it now and she goes on and sends it to the principal or counselor at the school and then they respond within 7 days, we can still wait up until February. I mean, it's still, how does that work? It's still associated with her number and everything?
Yeah, it's all
Okay.
there. It's really interesting how the portal, and we don't get to see how all the nuts and bolts work in the portal. And so, but you can also follow up with the 4-H Foundation and make sure that everything is good to go. And and as I said, and then I was reluctant of like, ooh, I'm being careful how I say that out loud. But wait till February the 15th. We all know that things don't always go the way we want them to, especially with technology. And so February 15th is the final deadline. Please do not wait till 8:50 on February 15th to submit that. Make sure it's it's good to go, and when you feel comfortable with it, because I will tell you, if you think and double check to make sure that that it's submitted. If you should receive a confirmation email, there's other things that the system does. There's going to be something that comes back to you, and check with Kelly Gideon at the 4-H Foundation that it is received. This is up to $20,000 on the line. It warrants communication. It warrants double checking. And that's just me though. I'm the one who keeps checking Amazon for my refund of $20. But it's so 20,000. Imagine how I'm going to be when I get to that point in my career or with my children. It's going to be a little crazy. So, but it should go ahead and submit it because it's supposed to work that way. But I just like to wait and double check myself. I know that was a long answer, but sorry about that, Stacy. It was a little long.
No, that's okay. Thank you. That helps.
Another question, I didn't see that.
Corey.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Avery and Sarah Bunger have a question. Can you see that?
Is there any reason to wait if we are ready to work on it? No, no, go ahead and work on it. Get it going. Have it in there. There's no reason to wait for anything. Just if I think Stacy was like, because I think they've already been working on it, I'm assuming, if you have it ready to go and you're waiting on the school counselor, like I said, I just want to double check that they've done it. But no, don't wait. There's no reason. Go ahead, get in there, start working on it, playing around in this, to get it to where you want to be, because I know for a fact it was nobody in District 9, but the person thought the application was submitted and it wasn't. Don't, double check those things. Do not wait till the last minute to submit it through. And I know that the youth have nothing more exciting that they'd rather work on than this application during the Christmas break. So, right. Okay, so let's see. Courageous Heart. To kind of recap some of those things with that application. This is going to be where, you're going to provide a narrative if you're applying for that. So in addition to the career narrative, the personal narrative, the financial narrative, if you're applying for Courageous Heart, there's an additional narrative for you to fill out there that really kind of talks about the, obstacles or hardships that you're working through and overcome. You also will need 3 references for the application. This is only for Courageous Heart. The other baccalaureate and technical and the collegiate one do not need reference letters or recommendation letters. And then there's the information on the getting your agent to fill out that form and uploading it. These are important dates right here that they have for us. So the system is ready. It's up. It's rolling. 15th official deadline. April 4th is tentatively when they're saying interview notifications will come out. Tentatively April 23rd to the 25th. Yes, District 9 does have some events on that day, on that 24th that we currently have scheduled for that day. What I do is I always communicate with the 4-H Foundation and letting them know that we tentatively have livestock judging and rifle on that 24th, that weekend. So they do work with us to work around those that Saturday. Tips for preparing the application: start early, and ensure that you have submitted the FAFSA and checking for that. I'm the nerd again who puts it on my calendar. If something's supposed to come in like 3 to 4 weeks, it's on double checking to make sure that it's there, or that I put it on my to-do list to look for it. Brainstorm and gather information before you start. Read and follow the guidelines, the instructions. I am, here to help you answer questions. I also want you to work with your agents. I know in some of our counties, we do have some newer agents. And so with that, if you want to ask me a question, be sure to also copy them as well. I typically am going to copy them on my response anyway, so that they see that, and that way we all are more aware. And so ask several people that the applicant respects to review and critique that. We talked about that. Complete all sections. If there is not anything in the section, then there's going to be a no score for that. Oh, my thing went too fast. Again, emphasize quality over quantity. Again, this is a competitive academic scholarship process. You're competing against the pool of applicants from across the state. There are no quotas from district to district or anything, or county to county. So just know it is against all 4-H graduating members. And I didn't say this. It is for only our youth who are graduating seniors can apply for this scholarship. I know some of you may have younger members that you just wanted to get on to kind of hear the process as you get geared up for the next year or two, and that's perfectly fine. But again, this is just for our graduating seniors. Our applicants change year to year, and so be cautious in looking at stuff that other people did from previous years in your counties. What may have worked for them is not necessarily going to work for you, or it's not going to be that way this year. And also, our judges change every year. We don't have the same people judging, so. No quotas. Fort Worth is the only show that donor that requires participation in there, and emphasize that the donors set the criteria.
Corey, Michelle made a comment.
Okay, Michelle did say that at least she asked her 4-Hers to get the 4-H project and narratives done by mid-January, so that they have time to go back and forth with edits, and that is a great idea. It's crucial that you have others read it and take those corrections. And And ultimately, you know, it's your choice whether or not you want to take those corrections. But I highly encourage it. You know, you know, utilize them. They're and when you're asking people to review things, please get with them ahead of time. You know, it's very hard to spring something on somebody 2 days before it's due, and because you don't know what all they have going on as well. So just kind of like we're working with those schools and getting that information you need from them. You know, get with everybody ahead of time. Making sure your academic proficiency has been met and college entrance exams have been taken early. So when in the end, you know, you get a total score, and the scores are sorted from highest to lowest, and then those scores are matched with the maximum dollar of the scholarships. And also, you know, each of the scholarships have different parameters. And so not every, you know, there's some scholarships that say that it has, you know, has to be someone who majors in, you know, a college of ag or life sciences. There's some that are given specific to go into tech, some, you know, where you go to A&M or, you know, so there is no, you know, like I said, because the applicants change every year, everything changes. So it's good to understand it, but like I said, just because something worked one year and somebody that you know got it and you have very similar project experiences, again, it doesn't mean it's going to work out the same way for you. Some scholarships are restricted to major, a college, a course of study. And those are verified each year. So if you say that you're going to do this major, and then you think you're going to change it up come mid-semester because your semester didn't go the way you wanted it, it will catch up to you as the applicant. So you can't do that. You've got to, if you're given a scholarship that's specific to a major, you have to stay with that. Narratives that have been written once are rarely effective. Again, things don't always go the way we want them to. So printer problems, computer crashes, it's just a fact of life. Be sure to not wait until your deadlines. And then we talked about the working with your school counselors and giving them a heads up. Start early, edit often. And then you can ask yourself those questions at the end. And so, I'll take them back. All right, so are there any other questions? Our pool.
Yeah, my question was, when you have half of your graduating class that has above a 6.0 average and you're not in the top 25%, is there any way to explain that you have a very high achieving high school, or just aren't going to get the Houston Livestock Show Rodeo because you're not in the top 25%?
It would not fall under the, we get this question year after year after year. And that's what makes it also challenging, is because every school does something different, and even schools within the same county do different things, which also kind of makes it a little bit frustrating at times. But if they're not in the top 25%, they're not going to fall under the parameters of those scholarships. But it doesn't mean that they wouldn't fall under some of the ones, like some of the San Antonio ones that are also $20,000. Or any of the others, you know, that also have that amount value. So it's I get it. We get that question every year, but again, goes back to the donors set those requirements. Sorry, I'm reading the question that's in the text chat at the moment. That's why I got quiet. So the clarify on the question, yes, go ahead and start working on your application. You don't have to wait till your counselor responds. My thing is that getting with those registrars, those counselors, whomever is going to complete that component at the school, get with them now, just because you're not the only ones asking for things. And because schools have a lot going on, they're getting ready to be off for 2.5, 3 weeks, and then coming back, it's going to be kind of fast and furious, and we don't want you to get overlooked just because it is such a crazy time, regardless of what's going on. December is a crazy time, when we end for the Christmas break, and then as we get jumping back in and going forth. So yes, go ahead and start your application, send your stuff to your school, and which counselor, registrar, whoever's doing that information for you. And the system will tell you if they've responded. And so me personally, I just like to wait and make sure they responded and did everything for me before I submit, but that's a control thing for me. So hopefully that answered or clarified your question.
If a student haven't received the decision from a university, I notice on the portal it says yes or no. Do you select no for now and wait for the decision to come in?
Yes, go ahead. If you have not received that response, go ahead and select no, and they will have to update that. They'll be, if they're provided or if they're extended an interview, they will get to update their information at that point.
Okay, thank you.
All right, those are some great questions. Are there any others?
You said you sent the slides, correct?
There is a link, Ashley, if you'll put that back again in the chat. It's on our district website. The district website has the presentation as well as the rules and guidelines for the foundation, basically the things that are on the foundation website. Some people are just more familiar with going to our district website. So Ashley did put that back in the chat for you. And I need to make myself a note to send an email. All right, well, if nobody else has any questions, I'll stay on for a little bit. I will stop the recording, and then I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have as we move forward. Again, please work with your county extension agents, and like I said, you're more than welcome to ask me questions. Please copy them so that they'll know the questions and the responses too, because that's the way we all learn best. So I do appreciate you guys getting on and participating. And I will send this to your, I'll wait till I'll have to edit this and send the link and then the email so that you guys have all the resources that you need to hopefully make this process as smooth as possible.
Hey, Corey, it's Stacy again. I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Madison just reminded me, outside 4-H experience, is that where we would list FFA stuff? Or is that work or?
Yes, put it in your outside 4-H experiences.
FFA, okay.
You can, and that page, everybody does it a little bit different. Some people will list like school as kind of the primary heading, and then
right,
if they've got multiple things that they're doing under school, say that they're in band and they're in FFA, and if you can do all that, great. Well, and then anything else they're doing, and then some just like to list things individually. So, but yes, do include
Okay,
that.
so we could do school and then like her student council. Is that where like golf, FF, like all that stuff? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all doing this.
No problem. I'll say after 17 years, this is the fastest I've ever done one.
Well, I'm sure I'm going to have more questions, but Madison just asked me that one and I was like, oh, I don't know.
Good question. Good question.
All right. Thank you.
Is there a place to see where